Joining me now is Spiked Chief Political Writer Brendan O'Neill. Brendan, thank you so much for your time tonight. Look, this is coming from the ABC, taxpayer funded to the tune of $1 billion a year. Should we be surprised that this is how some of their journalists want their coverage on the war to unfold?
We shouldn't be surprised, but we should be shocked. It is outrageous and actually quite disgusting that there are people at the ABC who think there is a moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas and who want to use similar language to describe both sides. That's like saying there's moral equivalence between a fascist movement and the victims of that fascist movement. That is essentially what these people are saying. And they pose as if they're challenging the ABC's pro-Israel bias. As we know, the ABC doesn't have a pro-Israel bias. It has an anti-Israel bias. But they pose as challenging bias. But in fact, they want to bring more bias to the ABC. They want to bring their bourgeois bigotries into work. They want to bring their hatred for Israel, their Israelophobia, into the workplace. They want to use words like genocide, ethnic cleansing, apartheid state, these very inaccurate, fact-free, bigoted terms that are used against the Jewish state and the Jewish state only. So what these people are actually demanding is the right to spread their Israelophobia on the publicly funded broadcaster. This is a very serious state of affairs, and I think it really speaks to a moral rot at the heart of the media elite.
Well said. You are so articulate, and that is absolutely accurate. Now, we've seen just overnight that Israel has cancelled its plans for senior officials to visit Washington. This after the United States abstained on the UN Security Council vote that called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Look, this is clearly tensions escalating between Netanyahu and Biden, but to me, it seems like the United States is walking away from Israel when it claimed that it was going to support its stated aim of eradicating Hamas.
Biden's America is stabbing Israel in the back. I'm really shocked by their abstention on this motion at the United Nations, which doesn't make a ceasefire conditional on the release of the hostages. Let's not forget that there are still many Israeli hostages in Hamas and Islamic Jihad captivity, including American citizens. I think there are 6 American citizens. And Biden's America seems not to take that very seriously. They're sending a really powerful message to Hamas. What the White House is essentially saying to Hamas is you can carry on terrorizing. You can carry on holding these hostages, which is a crime against humanity, because we are going to put pressure on Israel to stop bombing you, to stop bombing Hamas. So this doesn't only weaken the relationship between the White House and Israel at a really important moment, which I think is an act of betrayal, but it also emboldens Hamas. It sends them a really important signal that even now, the most powerful country in the world, the most influential country in the Middle East, is going to put pressure on Israel to down weapons and let Hamas essentially carry on holding these hostages. I think what Biden is doing is he is sacrificing Israel because he's worried about certain Democratic voters turning against him. These are mostly upper middle class graduates, the elected sections of the Democratic Party who have a real burning hatred of Israel. He's sacrificing Israel to win the votes of that section of society. I think it is such a political mistake. It's a moral mistake. And I think it's a really shameful thing that America is doing.